There has been a lot written concerning the center chapter or the center verse of the Bible. Much of it simply is not true or is only partially correct. The following presentation has been thoroughly researched and is absolutely correct. You can quote it and you can share it with confidence. Plus, there is information in the video that is absolutely exclusive to this presentation. The chapter and verse divisions of the Bible were not included in the original writings. Most scholars agree that the chapter divisions as we now know them were employed in the early 1200s AD. The current verse numbering system was probably employed in the middle 1500s AD. The first Bible printed in English to use both chapters and verses as we now know them was the Geneva Bible, published around 1560 AD. It is a fact that there are 1,189 chapters in the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. This, of course, would not be so in the Catholic version of the Bible, which includes other books, but in the evangelical or Protestant canon of Scriptures, there are 1,189 chapters. Calculating the center chapter is easy then. It is the chapter that falls right after the 594th chapter from the beginning. You would then come to the absolute middle chapter of the Bible. From there would be another 594 chapters. So, the 595th chapter would be the center chapter. 595 is Psalm 117. Amazingly, it is also the shortest chapter in the Bible, consisting of only 2 verses. Also amazingly, the 2 prominent themes of this chapter are the enduring love and mercy of the Lord and that His truth or His word endures forever. God's love, His mercy, and His word of truth, all are eternal. What a message from the center of God's heart to the center of His written word. But the surprises don't stop there. While 117 is the shortest chapter in the Bible and the absolute center of the Bible, Psalm 119 happens to be the longest chapter in the Bible, consisting of 176 verses. Psalm 119 is also the most unique chapter in the Bible, since the entire chapter is written in acrostic form, utilizing all 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Additionally, the supernatural nature of this chapter is indicated in that the number of verses, 176, adding the digits together produces the sum of 14. 14 is 2 times 7. 7 is the number of God's perfection and completion. 2 times 7, then, is an indication of God's perfection being magnified. Additionally, since 176 is an even number, 88 plus 88 equals 176, then the middle of this equation would encompass verses 88 and 89. What do they say? The middle of Psalm 119 says, "Quicken me after thy loving kindness, so I shall keep the testimony of thy mouth. Forever, O Lord, thy word is settled in heaven." So 117 is the middle of the Bible. It is also the shortest chapter in the Bible. 119 is the longest chapter in the Bible. And in between chapters 117 and 119 is chapter 118. 118 is exactly in the middle between the shortest and longest chapters in the Bible. The theology of Psalm 118 is amazing. In verse 1, it declares that the Lord's love endures forever and that we should be grateful for this. In verse 14, it declares that the Lord Himself has become our salvation. In verse 22, Psalm 118 declares that salvation is the cornerstone of our life, or God's heart. From the New Testament, of course, we know that that cornerstone is Jesus Christ. From verses 28 and 29 of Psalm 18, we learn that we should exalt the Lord because His love endures forever. In addition to this amazing truth is this interesting tidbit. The 1,189 chapters of the Bible could easily then correspond to Psalm 118 verse 9. And what does this verse declare? It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes. So in conclusion, Psalm 117, the shortest chapter in the Bible, declares that the truth of God's Word and His love are eternal. Psalm 119, the longest chapter in the Bible, declares the truth of God's Word is eternal. Psalm 118, right between the shortest and the longest chapters in the Bible, declares that it is better to trust in the Lord than in man. Do you see the pattern? All of this is from the center of God's heart to the center of God's Word, preserved for us supernaturally for thousands of years.